3, 2, 1. Let's get started.
This is the podcast.
Are you ready for takeoff?
So welcome back to another episode of Healthy with Heartland. I am your host, Justin Freishtat, and today we have another special guest, Heartland's own Matt Wesp.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so let's start with Matt Wesp. Your background, who are you, how'd you end up here?
Wow. Okay, so my background into health and wellness is really just a personal journey, which I think most people's is. It started back in college as I was just graduating. My girlfriend at the time gave me a book. It was actually called Magic Foods. So the way that book works is it talked about blood sugar, insulin, how basically broke down the macros, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and how your body reacted to them once you ate them. So from there, it just kind of snowballed. I started reading more, got more into health, started changing my diet a little bit here and there, making improvements as I went, which actually I think is, looking back on it, the best way for people to improve their health is just small, kind of minor changes which just evolve.
Excellent.
Building blocks, yep.
So if someone is looking to start that health and wellness journey and basically just get started, where should they start?
Well, I think a lot of people, they go straight to diets, and which can be good, but I like to focus on what I call the fundamental pillars of health. And these are things that everybody can affect in their day-to-day lives, and they're all free, actually. Things like reducing your stress, getting more water, better hydration levels, getting better sleep, more sleep, and the biggest one is just reducing processed foods, reducing the intake and eating of processed foods.
Excellent. So starting with the elimination of stress, what are some ways to eliminate stress that maybe people aren't really thinking about that they're subjecting themselves to on a daily basis?
With stress, I mean, there's several factors that cause that. The biggest ones to easily kind of approach are breathing exercises. So just taking a step back in your day-to-day and practicing taking deep breaths. Taking a few moments each day, whether it be when you first wake up or in the middle of the day, even right before you go to sleep. Just taking 5 to 10 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Those can really, really help reduce stress levels immediately, especially if you just have something happen to you, an event at work, or something that happens that is very stressful. To do it immediately at that time can kind of help bring you back to kind of like a level playing field as far as the stress is concerned.
Great.
Yeah.
And then on the hydration side, I think most people realize water is important to drink.
I think so.
But beyond that, how does hydration play into the whole health and wellness game?
I mean, hydration's key. Our bodies are made up of water. We all went through science class in middle school. I think we may not remember it, but the body, all our organs, our brain, our bones, our cells, our muscle, is all made up majority of water. It is a key aspect of our lives, and proper levels of hydration is important for our cells and our body to do its daily activities properly and efficiently. So, the basics around hydration, and it's not specific. I mean, well, it's generalized, and not everybody's the same, but the general guidelines are, you take your body weight by pounds, divide that by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking a day. So there's 8 ounces in a cup. So if you take that number, so if you're 200 pounds, you divide it by 2, you're at 100. If you divide that by 8, that's how many cups of water you should be drinking each day. So the way I like to remember just to get an adequate number of cups in a day is first thing I do when I wake up every day is I drink 2 to 3 cups of water. It's part of my habit. I've built it into my routine, and it's just there, which is also really good to like wake up the metabolism, wake up your organs, kind of get the body ready for, because it's basically been fasting for however long you've been sleeping. So it's just kind of a great way to initiate the sequences that the body and the digestive systems like. Another thing I do with habitually adding in water is after meals or before meals. I will drink a cup or two either right before and a cup or two either after. So some cool kind of pieces about that, actually, if you drink a lot of water before a meal, it actually helps suppress your appetite. So it may be another way to kind of naturally help your caloric restriction. So you don't eat as much at a meal because you drank too much water, or not too much, but you drank that amount of water before starting.
Yeah, that's something I've heard a lot. A lot of times when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. So every time I feel like I'm hungry, have a glass of water and say, okay, am I still hungry? Yeah.
And some of the other pieces around hydration is to kind of think about, am I dehydrated? So there's some key factors to kind of look for. The most simple ones are, if you're doing physical activity, you start cramping up, that's a sign of dehydration. But in general, day to day, like if you're at work and you get a headache, I mean, it could be some things, but it could be dehydration as well. Or if you're just feeling lightheaded as well, that's a key thing to like, hey, maybe I should drink some water.
Nice. So back to the diets. I know that you have an opinion on diets, and I want to hear about it.
Well, diets, let's start out by saying diets are great. They're not a one-size-fits-all, but I think the idea around diets is it's a great intro for people to start making healthy habit changes. So unfortunately, diets are looked at and they're usually temporary. I need to do this diet, or I'm doing this diet for this amount of time for this result. Once that either time or result is achieved, the habits fall off. And that's usually where diets kind of become yo-yo diets, or move on to the next flavor of the month diet. This month it's keto. This summer I'm doing paleo, or I don't eat bread, or carbs are the enemy. And it just gets into a lot of one size fits all, which is not right. And what I think diets should be used for is, again, as an intro for people to build upon them and say, hey, I've felt really good doing this. What was it? Was it the food choices I was making? Was it the food choices that I wasn't having anymore, that I used to have? And making those, finding those correlations and those links to where you slept better, or you felt better, or certain foods cause this. And then kind of taking that and then doing more research, getting more knowledge, and building on it to improve your day-to-day routines. Because it is different for everybody. We don't all digest foods the same way. We don't all have the same genetics. There's just so many different factors. So it is everybody's personal journey and what works best for them. But diet should really and only be used, I think, towards a tool, depending on where they're starting from, to get into a healthy lifestyle and then make adjustments from there.
That's excellent. So on the processed foods topic that you mentioned earlier, what, changes will people see when they eliminate processed foods?
It depends on where they're starting from. When I say starting from, how much, weight they may or want to lose or need to lose, and how they're feeling and what their health conditions are, kind of going into that. Some, I think, immediate things people will see in reducing processed foods is sleep quality is going to go better. Digestion of other foods is going to increase, meaning your ability to get more nutrition out of the good foods that you are eating. Just weight is just going to, for the most part, fall off faster if you're drastically cutting out processed foods. And when we say processed foods, obviously things that aren't natural. So the easiest way to identify something that is processed is it comes in a bag or it comes in a box. Like those are it's just a general kind of easy rule, not 100% foolproof, but general. Cereal comes in a box and a bag, actually, most of the time. Processed. If you look at the ingredients label, you'll see most likely some ingredients that you cannot pronounce. Candy bars, processed. It's not naturally found in nature. Chicken breast, natural. There's no real processing to make a chicken breast besides it being cut into the form of a chicken breast. So that's kind of the easiest way to identify them. And then, of course, the level of processed foods that you're eating in your day-to-day and cutting them out. Another big one, sodas, sugary sodas. Even sports drinks, energy drinks, those coffees in a can, all sorts of hidden sugars, fake sugars, non-caloric ingredients, which are the way they got into that package is processed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just today somebody was excited about this new keto coffee energy drink thing, and they showed it to me, and it's like, oh, it's all healthy, it's no sugar and all this, and then I flip around and I look at the ingredients, and it's about, a mile long. Yeah. I see the sucralose, all these fake things. Most people have no clue what that is. Yeah. But I think the artificial sweeteners is...
It's big.
It's in everything.
That alone can make a dramatic improvement. And I think what a lot of people don't realize about the fake sugars, the sucraloses, things like that, is their effect on our gut health. So I don't think there's a lot of research about that yet, because people look at the caloric side. No calories. It makes things taste better. Great. I can eat this 100 pack of brownies, 100-calorie pack of brownies, but there's no nutrition in that, first of all. It's just empty calories. But then again, what's the underlying effect that those processed sugars might have on your gut health? And when I say your gut health, I'm talking about like the gut lining and your ability to absorb nutrition and digest foods properly that go in there. The gut wall barrier, there's tons of, that gets into the nitty-gritty sciencey details, and some of that's above my pay grade.
It all starts with gut health, right?
Yeah, everything starts in the gut.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. So anything else for our listeners or viewers?
Some cool facts that you may not know about me.
Let's get it.
I love cats. I used to be in a metal band when I was in high school. Very much into metal music. I love a diverse range of music as well. But metal is a close, near and dear thing to my heart. So metal music, cats, food, nutrition, health, wellness, and working out. So any questions related to those things, feed them my way. I'll be happy to answer and just have discussions about it.
Awesome. So that's Matt Wesp, bringing all of the great knowledge. Follow him on all your social networks. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We're happy to get involved. And until next time, stay healthy with Heartland.